Atal mum bebechar. Kohanim are chashid that they're going to make a mum in the bechar in order to be able to shecht it and consume it themselves. So we'll say, and consume it themselves. If you take that together with what? Together with the notion. A kohen is chashed to go ahead and be matal mum bechar. Take that with the idea that hachashel davar echad is chashed l'chala Torah kula. Then ultimately kohanim should not be permitted to go ahead and adjudicate a case, but that can be v'haksiv v'al piem yeh koriv v'chol nega. The pasuk says that based on the testimony of the kohanim, ultimately again, Kohanim will decide all Rav and Agar. So we know that Kohanim historically were judges. There was a Beis Din of Kohanim, to which the Gemara says, Top of Lamed Vav, Eimar da'amar Rabbi Meir lechashasha, lachzekinu mi amar. So we'll say ultimately again, when Rabbi Meir says that the Kohanim are chashud, when Rabbi Meir says that chashud l'davar echad is chashud l'chala Torah kula, so we'll say that means when we know that he has gone ahead and actually violated something. That if someone goes ahead and we know is a habitual offender in a particular area, once he's a habitual offender in one area, that creates a cloud of suspicion around him for everything. Look at Rashi. La'achzikinu bechashudim mi amar Rabbi Meir chashul davar echad chashul l'chala Torah kula heichad de muchzak lan de over al davar echad. So both say, so ultimately it's very important. Rabbi Meir says that if you're chashud for one thing, you're chashud l'chala Torah kula. See, normally we translate the word chashud as suspect. But in reality, what chashud, and what does suspect mean? Suspect means is, we suspect, right? We suspect. No. Rabbi Meir says is, if you are known to be a habitual offender in one particular area, unfortunately that erodes your credibility in all areas. So the Gemara says, "Lachzikinu mi amar." So we'll say, therefore, again, when we say that Kohanim are chashud to be matil mum, we don't mean it to say that every single Kohen is matil mum b'bechar. What we mean is we have to be careful. There's a suspicion, and therefore we have to act accordingly. Ibailu eid mipi eid mahu le'edus bechar. We'll say an interesting case. What about an eid mipi eid? So we'll say eid mipi eid means like this: Ruvain sees that, let's call it Aaron the Kohen has a Bechar animal. Ruvain sees that the animal gets a mum, and Ruvain saw that it was a mum through natural causes. Right? Aaron the Kohen did not inflict the mum. Ruvain then tells Shimon. Shimon shows up in front of the Beis Din and testifies regarding the mum of the animal. That's called Eid Mipi Eid. So Eid Mipi Eid Mala Eid is Bechar. So we'll say, does this type of Eidus work for Bechar? Ravasi Asar, Rav Ashi Shari. Ravasi said it's Asar, it does not work, and Rav Ashi says it is good. Amrli Ravasi, the Ravashi. So Ravasi said to Ravashi, V'hatana de Menashe, Ein Eid Mipi Eid Kasher Eila LeEidos HaIsha. But we learned in a brayso, we'll say, right? Tana de Menashe, that Eid Mipi Eid, one witness testifying based on something he heard from another witness, is only good le'edus isha. So we'll say edus isha refers to the edus where we testify, a witness testifies that a woman's husband died overseas and she is permitted to remarry based on that testimony. Now we'll say, if you remember again, there are many leniencies built into that type of edus for the purpose of avoiding aguna. So right, that's why again, even an Eid Echad is believed. We have a lot of different possibilities like that. So therefore, the Gemara says, when do we say Eid Mipi Eid is kasher? That's only dafka in a case of Eidus Ha'isha, but in other cases it won't be good. To which the Gemara says, no. Tani ella le'edus sha'isha kshera la bilvad. To which the Gemara says, no, read that a little bit differently. It doesn't mean Eid Mipi Eid is kasher for Eidus Isha, but rather it means that Eid Mipi Eid is good in any case where a woman would be permitted to testify as well. Any situation where a woman has ne'emanos to testify, Eid Mipi Eid will be good as well. Now, I must say, it happens to be, interestingly enough, one of the situations where a woman has the opportunity to go ahead and testify is where? By Bechar. So just like when we believe by Bechar, so Eid Mipi Eid is also believed by Bechar. To which the Gemara says, Rav Yemar, Achsher Eid Mipi Eid Bechar. Rav Yemar allowed for testimony of Eid Mipi Eid when it came to a Bechor. Kareli Mereimar wasn't happy about this, and Mereimar used to call Rav Yemar Sharei Buchra. He used to call him Yemar, the Bechor permitter. He sounds better in Aramaic, but Yemar Shari Buchra, right? Yemar the Bechor permitter. The Hilchas and Abba say, what is the halacha? Eid mipi eid kasher le'eidus Bechor. And Abba say the Gemara says that the halacha is Eid mipi eid is good for Bechor testimony. So Ruvain saw that the mum occurred naturally. He tells Shimon could show up in Beis Din and testify, and that eidus would be accepted. Amar Rabbi Loi, lo hayu muchzakin bo shu Bechor. Well, so isn't this interesting case? If there's a particular animal in the flock, and what happens? No one thought that animal was a Bechor. Uba echad va'amar shehu Bechor, and someone shows up and says, oh, by the way, that animal is a Bechor. But that animal is a Bechor. Umumo imo. So we'll say, now watch this. So the person will come, Reuven shows up. Reuven says, oh, you see that animal over there? That animal is actually a Bechor, but it's blemished, and that blemish was a naturally occurring blemish. So he comes and he tells us that it's a Bechor, but he also tells us that it has a mum, and that mum permits the animal. So Naaman, ultimately, again, Reuven is believed. Reuven is believed. To which the Gemara says, "My kamashlan, that's obvious. Hasha pesha asra pesha hitir." Right? So, are you coming to teach? We'll say, we have a general concept. Pesha asra pesha hitir. If you come along and you give information that no one else knew before that asers, and then you give qualifying information which permits, you are believed for the simple reason that what? That's what? You could have stayed quiet. You didn't have to say anything. The fact that you voluntarily offered information, therefore you are believed to qualify that information as well. Today we learned this once before. If a woman comes along and says, you know what, I was married, ugrushani, but now I am divorced, ne'emenes, she is believed. Why? The runners will say, we don't ask her for a copy of her get. We don't ask her for witnesses, because they say, listen, we don't know you. As far as we're concerned, you're a single lady. You're now coming along and telling us that you are married and divorced. You are absolutely believed because you gave the information that we did not know. Therefore, you are believed to qualify it. The Gemara says, what would I have thought? Hasamhu di'ibaya lo amra. So we'll say, I might have thought, in the case of the Isha, the reason why she is believed is because she didn't have to say anything. Right? She did not have to say anything. She could have just kept her mouth closed, and we would assume that she's single. Avav hacha de lo sagi de lo amar de kachim b'chutz lo achil ema lo hapesh sha'asahu. So we'll say, but in this case over here, where the concern with Bechor is that if it's not actively permitted, then it could be the equivalent of eating kachim b'chutz. Maybe this is not something that a person normally has the prerogative to remain silent about. Therefore, when Reuven comes along and says, by the way, this is a Bechor and it's also a mum, maybe we should still require some greater threshold of believability. Kamash Mola, no. Kamash Mola will say that we say apeshas or apesha hitir by Bechor as well. Dimishum hachi havashadi beimuma dinigar va'achilei. Because it will say if this was just an issue of not eating kachim b'chutz, Reuven could have just gone ahead and what? Made a mum in the animal and eaten it outside of the Beis HaMikdash. Maskilamar barabashi. So we'll say, so therefore we have Rabbi Loi's statement that apeshas or apesha hitir works even by Bechor. So maskif lamar barabashi, maishna me'ahu gavra to oger lechamra lechavre. We'll say, why is this different than the following case? Why is this different than a man who rented a donkey to his friends? So Reuven lent a donkey, or really oger means he rented a donkey. He rented a donkey to Shimon. And Reuven says to Shimon, here's the donkey, but lo tezel ba'archa dinar pakod. I do not want you taking the pathway of the Pakod River. Right? I don't want you going the pathway of the Pakod River. Why not? Because that road always floods, and I don't want my donkey getting washed away. Zil ba'archa de narash delekamaya. Go down the path of narash, which is always dry. So what happens? Shimon takes the animal. Aza ba'archa de nar pakod umeschamra. So Shimon goes down, for whatever the reason, he goes down the Pakod River Road, and what happens? I will say, here's what's interesting. The donkey dies. The donkey dies, but nothing to do with water. Right? It has a heart attack. Right? It has a heart attack and it dies. So what happens? So Shimon shows up and he tells Reuven, listen, I disobeyed your statement, and I went down the Pekod River Road. Umiu Maya Lohavu. But I just want you to know the animal died, but nothing to do with the water. So I'll say what's really happening over here is that Shimon's trying to say essentially, I'm an ones, right? This was an extenuating circumstance, and therefore again, I'm not chayiv for this, because you didn't want me to go down the Pekod River Road because the road will get flooded and the animal will get swept away. It happens to be, you're right, your donkey died, but nothing to do with water. To which the Gemara says, Va'amar Rava, and Rava said, Malo the Shaker. And Rava says, in this case, Shimon is believed. Why? Because Malo Shaker means, why would he lie? So Rava say, because remember again, he could have just as easily said what? Shimon could have said what? I took the donkey down the Narash road, right? He didn't have to tell Ruvain that he took the donkey down the Nar Pekod road. He could have just said, I took the road that you wanted me to, and Nebuch, I'm sorry, Baruch Tainames, your donkey died. Your donkey died. The fact that he gave this information, he's believed. Malo l'shaker. To which the Gemara says, fine. Rabbi says, Malo l'shaker b'makom edim lo amrinon. So we'll say, interestingly enough, Abaye says, we do not say Malo l'shaker b'makom edim, which means what Rabbi say? That ultimately, when we have literally testimony that says the opposite of what the person is taining, what the person is claiming, so we do not employ the mechanism of Malo l'shaker. And I will say, now, what that means over here is Hachi hashtahasam vadaika maya. So we'll say, what's the idea? The idea is that apparently the Nar Pekod road was always flooded. There was no such thing as not having flooding on that road. So therefore, again, when Shimon comes along and says, I took him down the road, but there was no water, he's not believed. He's not believed. That's called, even though we would say Malo l'shaker, why should he lie? He could just as easily say, I took the donkey down the Pekod River Road. Malo l'shaker b'makom edim lo amrinon. The edim over here in this case is the fact that is a circumstantial edus. We always know that there's water on that road, and therefore he's not believed, essentially, to say that there wasn't water there. So hachi ashtas vaday ikamayim. So in this case over here, there's definitely water. Hasam vaday shadi beimuma. Are you going to say in the case of the Bechar that the individual is chashad to definitely inflict the mum? It's not definitely. Chashashahu. Both say that's a chashash. In other words, it's a chashash that people inflict, that Kohanim inflict mumin on the animal in order to go ahead and eat it. Ubemakom chashasha amrinon malo l'shaker. And I will say in the case of a chashash, we do employ the mechanism of malo l'shaker. Therefore, going back to Rabbi Eli's point, if the owner of the animal, the Kohen, comes along and he says, this animal happens to be a Bechar, right? But the mum that it has was a naturally occurring mum, we believe him. We believe him. Ultimately, again, why? Because apesha asra apesha hitir, malo l'shaker, he could just be quiet and do whatever he wants with the animal. The fact that he's telling us that it in fact is a Bechar, therefore he's believed to qualify that statement as well. Yosef Ravina v'ka amar lahaish shmaita v'lo gavra. Ravina was telling over this particular ruling without attribution. The statement of Rabbi Eloi, without attribution. So Amrli Rava Zuta the Ravina. So Ravina Zuta said to Ravina, by the way, Anon Mishmed Rabbi Eloi Masninala. You're quoting it without attribution. We when we quote this ruling, we always quote it in the name of Rabbi Eloi. Rabbi Tzadok Havile Bukhra. Suppose listen to this. Rabbi Tzadok is an interesting case. Had a Bechor animal. Rabbi had a Bechar animal. What happened? So Havile Bukhra, he had a Bechar. Rama Beisari Bisali. So this is actually very interesting. It's actually Rami Beisari Bisali Nasre Kaili Aruva Aruva Kalufa. He put the animal feed. He put the food in the animal in a basket made from peeled willow branches. So what happens? The animal sticks its head into the basket in order to eat of the food. Bahadi dika'achel ivza sifse. This is actually interesting. As the animal was eating in the basket, it split its lip, which Rabbi say is a mum. Now Rabbi Tzadok is a Kohen. That Bechar is his Bechar. And now the Bechar developed a mum from the basket the animal was eating in. But remember again, let's say what's interesting about this case. How did the Bechar develop its mum? Because of the basket that Rabbi Tzadok made. So it says the Gemara. So Asla Kamed Rabbi Yoshua. So Rabbi Tzadok comes before Rabbi Yoshua. Amarle, he asks him as follows: Klum chilaknu ben chaver la'am haaretz. do we make a distinction between a Talmid Chacham and an Am Haaretz? So we'll say, what does that mean? Look at Rashi. Klum chilaknu ben koin chaver koin Am Haaretz umi chashdinan ana lemishte beimuma bekavana ke koin Am Haaretz. So we'll say, so remember again, we're going to further establish that Kohanim do not have credibility when it comes to Bechar. And therefore, if a Kohen's Bechar develops a mum, the Kohen needs external corroboration that the mum was not inflicted, but the mum was naturally occurring. What Rabbi Tzadok was asking Rabbi Yoshua is this a din for all Kohanim? Or does a Kohen who's a Talmid Chacham have a certain level of credibility that a Kohen Am Haaretz does not? Amar lo Rabbi Yoshua, hein. Rabbi Yoshua said, yes, in fact, there is a distinction. Rashi says, hein chaloknu v'lo chashirta. You are not chashid. In other words, Rabbi Tzadok, no one is chashid that you purposely created a peeled willow basket, so that your animal should stick its head in, split its lip, develop a mum. So we are choshed a kohen Am Haaretz, but we are not choshed a kohen Talmid Chacham. Good. Also, like Rabbi Gamliel. So both say, so Rabbi Tzadok first goes to Rabbi Yoshua. Rabbi Yoshua tells him, we're only worried about a kohen Am Haaretz intentionally inflicting a mum. We are not worried about a kohen Talmid Chacham. Therefore, Rabbi Tzadok, you're good to go. Your animal is permitted. You could shecht it. Go. For whatever the reason, Rabbi Tzadok then goes to Rabbi Gamliel. Amrlei, and Reyes is saying chash to Rabbi Gamliel. Rabbi Gamliel says, "Chilaknu bein chaver la Am Haaretz." I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Rabbi Tzadok asked him, Rabbi, do we make a distinction between a Kohen Chaver, a Kohen Talmid Chacham, and a Kohen Am Haaretz? Amar li Rabbi Gamliel, lo. First one line above said Lamed Vav Amud Aleph. Rabbi Gamliel said no distinction. The same way that a Kohen Am Haaretz is chashid to inflict a mum, even a Kohen Talmid Chacham is chashid to inflict a mum. And therefore, if the animal develops a mum, there must be some corroboration outside of the Kohen himself in order to establish that this is a naturally occurring mum. So also Rabbi Tzadok says, V'ha Rabbi Yoshua Amar li hein. But Rabbi Gamliel, I don't mean to contradict you, but Rabbi Yoshua said that there is a distinction, and we are only choshid a kohen Am Haaretz, not a kohen Talmid Chacham. So Rabbi Gamliel says, Amrlei, hamtin achiyalu bali trisin lebeis hamedrash. So Rabbi Gamliel says that let's wait. Bali trisin means the shield bearers. Let's wait till everyone assembles in the yeshiva. Right? Let's wait till everybody, all the Talmidei Chacham come in, and we'll discuss the matter. As soon as everybody assembled in the base medrash, Amad hashoel v'shas. We'll say they used to use, one person would go ahead and stand up and pose a question to the Rabbanim, to the base medrash, and then they would debate the question. So here was the question of the day: Klum chilaknu bein chaver la Am Haaretz. Do we make a distinction between a kohen Talmid Chacham and a kohen Am Haaretz for purposes of mum? Amar lo, Amar le Rabbi Yoshua lav. Rabbi Yoshua said no. We make no distinction. The same way that a kohen Am Haaretz is suspect, a kohen Talmid Chacham is suspect as well. So the Gemara says, Amar le Rabbi Yoshua lav. Amar le Rabbi Gamliel. V'halo mishmecha amru li hein. But Rabbi Gamliel pipes up. Remember, Rabbi Gamliel is the head of the Beis Din, right? He is the Reish Mesifta. So Rabbi Gamliel says, Rabbi Yoshua, Rabbi Tzadok told me in your name that you do make a distinction between a kohen Talmid Chacham and a kohen Am Haaretz. Why are you standing here saying no? Yoshua, amod al raglecha v'ya'idu b'cha. Yoshua, stand up, and Rabbi Tzadok testify about what Rabbi Yoshua said to you. So Amad Rabbi Yoshua raglav. Rabbi Yoshua stood up on his feet. V'amar, heich eser. Rabbi Yoshua says, what do you want of me? Ilmole ani chai v'hu meis, yachal hachai lahachish es hameis. If ultimately, again, Rabbi Tzadok were alive, or if I was alive, Rabbi Tzadok was dead, so I could contradict what he said, right? Because the living could contradict what the dead said. Achshav shani chai v'hu chai, hey chai yochel lahachish es hachai. But now I'm alive and he's alive. I can't contradict what he was saying. So we'll say, well, just to understand what happened over here is Rabbi Yoshua changed his original position. He changed it, meaning in the beginning, he felt that we do make a distinction between a kohen Talmid Chacham and a kohen Am Haaretz, and that's why he passed in for Rabbi Tzadok. At some point later on, he changed that position. So that the Rabbi Gamliel calls on him in the Sanhedrin and says, what's your position? He says, there is no distinction. Rabbi Gamliel feels that Rabbi Gamliel feels he's contradicting himself, or he's not being honest with what his position is. It's not clear, but Rabbi Gamliel tells him to go ahead and stand up, and ultimately again shames him in front of the entire base medrash. So remember again. Well, and what happened? Rabbi Yoshua is standing. Remember, everyone else is sitting. Rabbi Yoshua is standing, and Rabbi Gamliel never gives him official permission to sit, and so Rabbi Yoshua remains standing throughout the entire drasha, obviously exceptionally embarrassed and humiliated. So the Gemara says, "Ad sherinu kala am va'anu lechutzbis hatorgaman amod va'amad." Until the other rabbanim in the base medrash were so uncomfortable with this humiliation of Rabbi Yoshua that they said to chutzbis the turgaman. So let's remember again, Rabbi Gamliel, when he would give the shir, so he'd have a turgaman. He'd say something, and then the turgaman would go and expound on it and explain it in plainer terms. So the other rabbanim said to chutzbis, stop. You can't go on with the shir as long as Rabbi Yoshua ultimately is standing in place. So we'll say, just so you should know, there are two episodes like this, right? This is one episode here, and the other episode is in Maseches Brachos, where again Rabbi Yoshua and Rabbi Gamliel have a dispute about Kriyas Shema Shel Arvis. So we'll say, remember again, or Geula and Arvis. So we'll say, remember again, this story in Brachos, which was the second of the two episodes, leads ultimately again to the replacement, to essentially the firing of Rabbi Gamliel from his position and his replacement with Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, right? So we'll say, remember again, this is the Haggadah. Harianika ben Shivim Shana. That story occurs right after Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah is asked to replace Rabbi Gamliel, and Rabbi Gamliel literally is replaced because he publicly embarrassed Rabbi Yoshua twice. The same type of thing, where he calls out Rabbi Yoshua for a position and leaves him standing while he goes on with the shir. Rabbi will say, but again, for our purposes, halacha l'maisa. First of all, we paskin, there is no distinction between a kohen am haaretz and a kohen talmid chacham. That's number one. So the fact that kohanim are chashud to be matil mum ultimately applies to all kohanim. Furthermore, again, we also go ahead and accept the position of Rabbi Eloi, namely that halacha l'maisa pesha asura pesha hitir, or malo l'shaker. That ultimately, again, when we say kohanim are chashud, that doesn't mean that we believe that every single kohen inflicts a mum on his bechor. It just means that we have to be concerned for it and structure halacha around that reality. Therefore, but if a kohen were to come along and say, that animal that no one knew about, that's a bechor, and that's its mum, and the mum is naturally occurring, we would believe him in that case, because we would say, hapesh asra hapesh hitir, malo l'shakeh. Good, says the Mishnah. Ne'eman hakohen lomar, herisi bechor zeh uba mumu. So we'll say, a kohen is believed to say that ultimately what? I showed this bechor to a mumche, and it is a bamum. So let's remember again, we've seen and we will continue to see that halacha l'maisa, you really have to show a mum to a mumcha, right? You have to show the mum to an expert. So a kohen is believed to say, this bechor animal that I have, I took the animal to a mumcha, I showed it to him, he paskin that it was a mum kavua, and therefore I am permitted to shech this animal. A kohen is believed to give that testimony. So the Gemara says, and now Rashi actually points out something very interesting. Rashi says, "Heresi b'charzeh l'chacham va'amar li shemum kavuahu v'shochto u'bilvat shilo edim shleitilubo." So it says, interestingly enough, apparently according to Rashi, you're still required to have independent corroboration that the Kohen did not go ahead and intentionally inflict the mum. Now the truth is, the other Rishonim disagree with this because they feel this would be part of the investigation of the mumcha. Meaning when you show up at the mumcha, he doesn't just look at the mum and say kavua or over. Rather he investigates the circumstances of the mum as well. But our point being is that the Kohen is believed to say that he took it to a mumcha and the mumcha paskin. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. Ne'eman hakohen lomar bechor zeh nasan liyisrael b'mumo. Supposed to listen to this. A kohen is believed to say that this bechor animal that I have was given to me with a Yisrael. Was given to me by Yisrael with its mum. In other words, I received a blemished bechor from a Yisrael, and therefore, of course, this animal is permitted for shechita and consumption. Look at Rashi. Ne'eman hakohen lomar l'chacham bechor zeh nasan liyisrael imum zeh shebo. So we'll say this is talking about when the kohen shows up at the home of the mumcha, and he explains the circumstances, he is permitted to say, I received this from the Yisrael with its mum. My taima. So what's the reason why the Kohen is believed in this situation? So Komilso da Avida Leg Luye Lo Meshakri Be'in Shivos is actually very interesting. Generally, when do people lie? When there's a very low probability of anyone being able to corroborate their story. People don't lie. Generally, people don't lie regarding information that is easily discoverable. Hey, so therefore, again, I will say, for the Kohen to come to the Mumcha and say, listen, I got this animal from Yaakov the Yisrael, right? And again, it was given to me with a mum. So a piece of information like that is easily discoverable or is easily corroboratable. Easily corroborated. Good. Easily corroborated by the Kohen. Right? So we'll say, so because of that, he's not going to lie. We also learn this as well. Right? Ultimately, the Kohen is believed to say, I showed my Bechor to a mumcha, and it is a balmum. So my time, what's the reason for this? Lab mishum darmino komilsa davido lagluye lo meshakri be'inshi. I will say ultimately why? Because we assume that any piece of information which can become discovered, people do not lie about it. Says the Gemara, hasamhu dekachim bachutz lo achil. So we'll say in the case of the Mishnah, we also assume, remember again, here's the problem. If you eat a bachar, if the Kohen eats a bachar without a mum, or without an appropriate mum, that's eating kachim b'chutz. A Kohen's not going to go ahead and eat kachim b'chutz. Therefore, again, if halacha l'maisa he tells us that he showed it to the Kohen and it has a mum, we are going to believe him. Aval hacha kevan de chashidi chashidi. But I will say over here, if a Kohen is chashid, he's chashid. So how do you make that distinction? Look at Rashi. Aval hacha de kamach v'lei lechacham v'amar b'mum ze nasna li Yisrael kadesh lo yitzarech lahavi edim sheme elav nafal bo kevan de chashidi kohani lahatel mum ulemeimar nafal me'elav. So we'll say kohanim are chashid to be matal mum and ultimately go ahead and say that it happened by itself. So which the Gemara says, Masiv Rav Shizvi. So Rav Shizvi ultimately raises a kasha. Ha'omer lemi she'in ne'aman ala meiser, kach lemi musha ne'aman. Let's listen to this case. If someone, ha'omer lemi she'in ne'aman ala meiser. So we'll say, if I say to Ruvain, and by the way, Ruvain is not ne'aman. He himself does not have credibility that he separates out meiser from his produce. So I say to Ruvain, kach li mimishu ne'aman or mimishu ma'aser. So I say to Ruvain, listen, I need you to go out and buy some produce for me, but I need to make sure that you get it from someone who is ne'aman regarding meiser. Either that he only purchases tithe produce, or that whenever he gets produce, he tithes it himself. Buy me produce, but buy me produce from someone who is a ne'aman. So we'll say, what's the halacha? Ein ne'aman. When Reuven goes out and he buys me produce, I cannot rely on the fact that that produce is properly tithed. Why not? Amai. Neima komilsa da'avida lagluyelo meshakriba. Why don't I say that at the end of the day? Of course, Reuven is believed. Why? Because halacha l'maisa, this is an easily discoverable piece of information, right? At the end of the day, I could ask Reuven who he bought from, and halacha l'maisa, if the person didn't tithe, I have the ability to realize that he's lying to me. To which the Gemara says, "Shiny Hasam." This case is different. Why? Amud Beis. The Isle Ishtamute. Because the both say Reuven himself has an out. What's his out? He could say, "Well, what do you want from me? I thought that this guy was Naaman. I thought he was Naaman, meaning I made a mistake. I didn't intentionally try to deceive." Rabbi say, so what? Meaning a person will lie. A person won't lie when something is discoverable, unless of course what? He has a good alibi, right? So in this case over here, when I tell Reuven, go out and buy me tithe produce, and Reuven is not believed to provide for me tithe produce. But once he tells me who he bought it from, I could easily discover if it was tithed or not, because we'll say even then he could have an excuse of, I didn't know. I thought the guy was in Ne'eman. I'm so sorry. He pulled the fast one on both of us. Therefore, the Shliach has no Ne'emonis. Now, we'll say, now watch this. Seif Avadim Israel. But the end of that brisa certainly could help us. How so? Mi Ishploni. We'll say, what happens if I say to Reuven, I want you to buy from me produce from Shimon. From Shimon. Shimon is, because remember, in case number one, what did I tell Reuven? Buy produce from me from someone who has credibility lagabi meiser. In case number two, I'm not saying someone, I'm saying Shimon. Shimon, go to Shimon. Purchase produce from Shimon. So what's the halacha? So ultimately, if Reuven shows back up with produce and he tells me it's from Shimon, he is believed. Why? Hasam kevan de isle toveya mirsas. We'll say that case is different. Why? Because there is a toveya. Look at Rashi. Hasam kevan de ika toveya mirsas. Kilomar mehalo tisayed the hasam mirsas shaliach kevan de chazi de kapid mishalach lahaskir shema ish savar vada yitba'anu. Aval gabi Bechoros. So we'll say, listen to this. In a case where literally I said to the shaliach, a specific person, go buy from Shimon. So we'll say there is a situation where, again, if Reuven did the shlichus or not, is an easily discoverable reality. And if he didn't, ultimately, again, he'll be held accountable. But look at Rashi. Aval gabi Bechor lo mirsas haikoin the savar mi yitrach lechapes achar dvari v'lisha laose yisrael nasnuli lo b'mur. So we'll say, but when the coin shows up and the coin says to the mumcha, I got this bechar from a Yisrael, and the bechar already had its mum on it, who is going to really go through the effort of actually corroborating that story? Or so the Kohen thinks. Therefore, the Kohen would feel emboldened to go ahead and lie about that as well. So, Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba, Mina li Yehuda. So ultimately, again, so the Gemara says, I'm sorry, lost the place. So the Gemara says, I'm sorry, I'm Rabbi Yehuda bar Abba, Mina li Yehuda. Look at Rashi, Mina li Yehuda. Ha da Amar le'el ne'aman kohen lomar bechar zen nasan li Yisrael b'mumo. So we'll say, so where does Rabbi Yehuda know that ultimately, again, a kohen is believed to say, when he comes before the mumcha, he is believed to say, I received this animal from Yisrael with its mum. Ana begidul kavase. Ultimately, again, I went ahead and taught this to Gidel. V'Gidel kaveh b'didei. And it was Gidel who taught Rabbi Yehuda. V'hachi amri lei. And this is what he said to him. Ne'eman Yisrael lomar b'char zen asati l'kohen b'mumo. In fact, the halacha bos is as follows. Not that the Kohen is believed to say, I went ahead and I got this from the Yisrael with its mum, but rather, a Yisrael is believed to say, I gave this animal with a mum to the Kohen. To which the Gemara says, Yisrael, pshita. So I understand, what's the chiddush? Of course, I want to remember again, a Yisrael doesn't have a horse in this race, right? Yisrael, of course, is believed. Why? Because remember again, as much as Yisrael could eat of the bechar is not his. So if a Yisrael comes along and says, I gave this animal to a Kohen, and I gave it with its mum, of course he's believed. What's the shayla? To which the Gemara says, I'll tell you why. Lo tzarech bekatan v'higdil. Oh, but say, what's the Chiddush case? The Chiddush case is when the Yisrael gave the animal to the Kohen, it was a katan. He comes around sometime later, and the animal got bigger. So we'll say, I might have thought it says, Ma'udetema lo kimle. I might have thought that, let's say now, I don't believe the Yisrael that he actually recognizes this animal, right? Kamashal and Rabbi say that we assume that the Yisrael recognizes his animal even sometime later. So remember again, the chiddush of this case is the Yisrael gave the animal to the Kohen when the animal was a katan, it was young. Then sometime later on, the Yisrael shows up and he testifies, that animal, I gave to the Kohen and it had its mum on it when I gave it to the Kohen. To which the Gemara says, okay, Yisrael is believed, but what's the chiddush? The chiddush is K'nai Nahara, the animal has grown. And the animal looks very different today than it did when the Yisrael gave it to the Kohen. I might have thought that people don't have such acute animal recognition skills. Kamashmal no. Kamashmal that we trust the Yisrael to say that animal that is now a gadol is the same animal that I gave to the Kohen when it was a katan and had its mum with it when I gave it to the Kohen. B'sura masnu kilishna basra, b'pompadisa kilishna kama. So we'll say in surah, they went ahead and they stated this halacha with the later lashon, and in Pompadisa the earlier lashon. Also look at Rashi. Kalishna Basra, ultimately is Ne'aman Yisrael. Kalishna Basra is the version we just had. That a Yisrael is believed to say that he gave the animal to the Kohen with a mum. In Pompadisa, they went with the earlier lashon. I will say which was what? That not only is the Yisrael believed, but what? A Kohen is believed to say that a Yisrael gave me this animal with a mum. V'hilchasa, and I will say the halacha is afilu kalishna kama. But also the Gemara says the halacha is that indeed a Kohen is believed to go ahead and say that what? The Yisrael gave me this animal with a mum. Rafram b'pumpadisa havale buchras. We'll say Rafram was in Pumpadisa, and he had with him a Bechor. V'yoiv leil Kohen below Muma. So let's listen to this case. So Rafram, who was a Yisrael, was in Pumbedisa. He had a Bechor animal. So as a good Jew, he gives his Bechor animal to a Kohen, right? And he gave the animal to the Kohen unblemished. Azul Shadl Beimuma. The Kohen went ahead and inflicted a mum on the Bechor animal. So what happens? Chalash be'enei. So we'll say, so now Rafram had some type of degenerative eye disease. He could not see, or he had difficulty seeing. So what happens? Chalash be'enei. I see lekame. So we'll say, listen to this wild story. So we'll call him Kohen. Remember, so Rafram gave his unblemished Bechor to a Kohen. It's for the Kohen. The Kohen in this story, actively blemished the Bechor. Aser. What does he do? He then brings that very Bechor to Rafram. Rafram was a mumcha to paskin on the mum if it was a mum over, or if it was a mum kavua. And I will say, now what's the Kohen's cheshbon? The Kohen's cheshbon is Rafram's eyesight is very poor, very poor. So either he won't recognize me, he won't recognize the animal, or he won't pass unless he can recognize the mum. But he was banking on either he won't recognize me or the animal. So Amarle. So the guy says, he lies right to Rafram. Amarle Bechor zen nasanli yisabumo. So listen to this. So the Kohen says to Rafram, oh, you know what? I received this Bechor from a Yisrael. And when I received it from Yisrael, it came with a mum included. So what happens? Arfasin hu le'enei. So we'll say, Arfasin le'enei is very interesting. It literally means, pasachin b'koach. I guess Rafram's issue was he couldn't keep his eyes open. So he forced his eyelids open. He looked at the Bechor, chazye b'shikra, and he recognized the animal. He recognized the guy. Amarle lav ana diahivalech. Am I not the one who gave you this animal? Hey, so Rafram confronts the liar. They both say, so obviously this case is not going to work. But afilu hachi lo chash la lemilsa. Well, this is actually amazing. So you might have thought as follows. You might have thought after a story like this, so Rafram would say, therefore the halacha is that a Kohen is not believed to go ahead and say that a Yisrael gave me this animal and it had its mum. After all, here's an episode of a Kohen coming along and literally lying to the very Yisrael who gave him the animal about who gave it to him and about the mum. But nevertheless, lo chashle lemilsa, Rafram did not change the previously established halachic position. Why? Hayhu dechatzif, kuli alma lo chatzifi. It is only this guy who is an incredible Baal Chutzpah. But we do not assume that most people are such Baalei Chutzpah. Therefore, again, I will say, still going with our previously established position, which is that if a Kohen comes along and says, I got this animal from Yisrael and had its mum with it, that we believe. And I will tell you, there's an incredible Musar in this Gemara as well. Sometimes in life, we have bad interactions with people. And many times in life, we have bad interactions with people. And sometimes what ends up happening is those bad interactions so color the way we look at people in general. Whether it's certain races, ethnicities, types of people, and we draw conclusions based on the actions of an individual, and we apply it to an entire group. People do this to us all of the time. And what the Gemara is saying over here is sometimes, Hayhu dechatzif, kuli amalo chatzifi. Don't become jaded on humanity. Don't become jaded about a group because of the actions of individuals or a few. There are always some people who are ridiculous baalei chutzpah. But at the end of the day, don't draw conclusions about a group or a whole based on the actions of individuals. Very important yesod. Hahu sarua da'asla kamei Rabashi. Let's listen to this case. There was a sarua. Sarua is one eye is larger than the other. That is a mum. That is a mum. So there was a sarua, there was an animal, a bechor animal that was a sarua. They came before Rabbi Rashi. Amar lamai nechushle. Ikoinhu, Yisraelu, Hare Becharo Mumimo. What's the shaila here? What's the shaila here, right? At the end of the day, this is a bechar, and it has an apparent mum. The Gemara says, V'amar Rav Yehuda, Ein roin bechar Yisrael, ela imkein koin imo. But let's listen to this. So the issue over here is, Amar li Ravina li Ravashi, Dilma Yisraelu. Maybe the issue over here is that who's bringing the animal? Who's bringing the animal is a Yisrael. And also we have another halacha. Listen to this. V'amar Rav Yehuda, Ein roin bechar Yisrael, ela imkein koin imo. Listen to this. You are not permitted to paskin regarding a bechar of a Yisrael, unless, of course, he brings a Kohen with him. What are we concerned about Rabbi saying? This is actually amazing. That if you go ahead and you paskin that the Bechor is mutter, what may occur? What may occur is that the Yisrael may shecht it and eat it. Why? Because we know, we saw a couple of days ago that everyone is permitted to partake of Bechor Behema meat that is shechted because of a mum. So if the Yisrael shows up at the mumcha and the mumcha says mutter for shchita, we're concerned that the Yisrael is going to shecht it and eat it himself. Therefore, if the Yisrael comes to ask a shaila about a mum, we only pass if there's a kohen there together with him, because this way there'll be pressure to what? To give the bechar behema ultimately to the kohen. So ultimately, again, as much as the Yisrael is not going to eat kachim b'chutz, amamoni de kohen chashid. He is chashid for stealing. We're saying people won't eat kachim b'chutz because that's an isakaris, but people do steal all of the time. But we'll say in this case over here, everyone knows that a sarua, right? When one eye is larger than the other, everyone knows that is a mum kavua. So if everyone knows that it's a mum, so why is it that this Yisrael is bringing this before the Beis Din, before the mumcha? Mishum kavoda de chacham. Ultimately, again, out of deference to the chacham, because the Yisrael does not want to paskin on something himself. He wants the input of the chacham. If so, the Gemara says, "Akvodo de chacham lo avid a surah avid." So I'll say, avid. If this guy is so careful with the kavod of a talmid chacham that he's going to ask the shaila even in a situation where it's absolutely and abundantly clear that there is no problem, is he going to steal from the kohen? And therefore, we'll say the assumption is no. If halacha lamaisa Yisrael showing up with an obvious mum kavua, but out of deference to the talmid chacham, he's going to ask the shaila, then this type of person, this caliber of person, is not going to steal from the kohen as well. Look at the Mishnah. Hakol ne'emanan amume meiser. So we'll say everyone is believed when it comes to the mum of meiser. So we'll say, remember again, meiser behema, the 10th animal from your flock, we'll say is yours. In other words, you are permitted to eat it. It's kind of like meiser sheni. You just have to take it to Yerushalayim. If it develops a mum, you don't have to do anything with it. You can shecht it like a regular animal. Everyone is believed to testify regarding mume meiser, my time. So we'll say, why is that everyone is believed? Right? We just went through such an exhaustive study in terms of who's believed, when you're believed, how you're believed for a mum and a bechar. Yet when it comes to a mum on meiser, everyone is believed. Why is that? Says the Gemara, my time. Because the truth is, you could have proactively blemished this animal and prevented it from becoming meiser behema to begin with. To which the Gemara says, really? How can you proactively blemish a meiser behema animal? You don't know which animal is going to be number 10 when coming out of the pen. To which maybe what you'll do is, no, you'll blemish an animal and then arrange it in such a way that is the 10th animal which comes out. The Gemara says that's Isser Daraisa lo yivaker bein tov l'ra. We'll say that you're not allowed to do. You can't distinguish between the good animal and the not so good animal when it comes to meiser behema. Elo di boy shadi beimumam b'kula adrei. Now we'll say there's a very simple way to make your entire flock free from any meiser allegation, which is what? Proactively blemish all of your animals. Well, say, it's not a big deal. Split the lip. Animal will be just fine. Split the lip. Easy for me to say, right? Split the lip of every animal. And I'll say, what happens? You make all of your animal a balmum. There's absolutely no prohibition in doing that. If you want to go ahead and go into your flock and split the lip or make some other type of mum in your animal, therefore I will say you disqualify all of the animals from meiser behema. It's meiser behema free flock, and you're good to go. Since I could do that if I wanted to, therefore what? I am believed to say that this animal had a mum and therefore is exempt from meiser behema. But say same idea as we said before, that essentially again a peshasra, peshahitir, or a malo l'shaker, when you had an out, ultimately again, and you come forward with information that lends credibility to the information you are advancing. So we'll stop over here. We'll pick up at the Mishnah Mirz Hashem tomorrow.
Sounds like speaking about that, and it's sort of like when they try to avoid, they bring it in through the roof of the house, so they wouldn't. They were very critical.
Say that once more.
When they tried to get out of
Right.
They were very critical of that.
So, there I think